Hi there, myself Vasan. In this video, we'll talk about what are the best practices you must follow if you own an AWS account or if you manage an AWS account for your organization. The user account which you logged in using the email ID at the first time is known as a root user, and this is a default user which is created by the AWS at first. This user contains all the super admin privilege which covers right from your billing and end-to-end scenarios. So this is going to act as a key for you to create additional user accounts, and from there our journey will continue. So thing to remember is don't use this root user for your day-to-day purpose. This should be used mainly just for the billing purpose in most of the cases. In case if you lost the root user, then it's something more like you lost control of your entire AWS account. As we now know the importance of the root user, the first thing to do is to protect the root user itself. So how can we do is navigate to the service IAM and then enable an MFA for the root user. So MFA is a multi-factor authentication which you can use, achieve it by using the third-party apps like a Google Authenticator or a Microsoft Authenticator. So this helps is to generate a 6-digit code periodically for a sort which has the validity of a short time, so that each time you log into your account you get asked for it, so that you can avoid potential credentials leak of your account. So all you need to do is add MFA, and then it would ask for activate MFA. Go for it, and then you see multiple options like virtual MFA, security key, and other hardware MFA. So here we want to choose virtual MFA device, go for continue, and then you would see show QR code. So once you click the show QR code, you would get a QR code over here. All you need to do is go to your mobile Play Store, download the app Google Authenticator. Myself, I use that. Click a plus button at the bottom of the screen, click it, scan the QR code, enter the 6-digit code which you observe, wait for like a couple of seconds to refresh for another code, and then enter the second code which you see and assign the MFA. Then you are all done over here. Now we have protected our root user by adding the MFA account. So next thing is to create a user for generic purpose. So remember, always you need to start using the non-root user account for your day-to-day purpose to secure your account. So let's add user. So let me create an admin for this one. So let me name it as admin, and then for now I'll just create only just a password, and then let me set up custom password. So in generic, as a standard practice, it would be like we select a user must create a new password and then next permissions. So give the permissions which you would like to give it. So for now, let me create a group, and then maybe I will attach the policy. And if you could see, you can see the administrator access, and then let's create a user. So we can directly send an email to the user with the login instructions, so that the user can directly receive the email and log in from the email instruction. So this is how the standard practice you would follow in real time as well. So never ever share the username or password directly over the Slack or so. So send them one-to-one email with the details, so that it's there for the standard practice. So let's close it. So this is one thing you do. So once you created the admin account with the admin permissions, you start using that admin account or admin user for your day-to-day usage, and never ever go and use any other root user for your day-to-day use cases. So next in admin, so again you would need to enable the MFA. So you can enable the MFA, but as an admin you wouldn't do that. So let's say for now I'll just leave it over here, but you need to do the same process as we did for the root user. You need to choose assign MFA device, and then virtual MFA. You go for continue, choose the QR code, and do the same activity which you did for the root user. So now we have the user created, the admin user created, which we can use it for our day-to-day use case. Plus we also we no more need to use the root user anymore for our day-to-day purpose other than billing. So next thing is the billing part, which comes the most critical thing as a newbie to the AWS. So if you are a bit careless, and if you miss any instance to shut it down, or anything which doesn't cover on the free tier, if you end up using it, then you would end up paying bills to AWS. How can we avoid it? So one thing is AWS provides a clear documentation to say like what are the things that comes under the free tier. So I think you can just search for AWS free. The first thing would come over here, the free cloud computing services under the free tier, and you can see what are the things that are available under the AWS free tier account. So you can search for it and understand like for what service you're using and what's the free quota they provide for you. Another thing, as an additional step you can consider doing, is to set up a billing alarm. So for now, let's go for the creation of a CloudWatch alarm. I know this can be a bit advanced or a bit overwhelming, but bear with me. These are the best practices that you must follow in order to get your account protected and not losing any money over that. So navigate to the billing section and then create an alarm. So you could see estimated charges, maximum of 6 hours, and then here you can see estimated charges is set a minimum of $1, so that in case if you are crossing the billing amount of $1, you would get notified, and then you can come back to the billing dashboard and then see what is causing that billing, and then you can immediately act upon it. So let's say in alarm, and then you can choose select an SNS topic or create a new topic, even provide the email ID that should be notified to. Okay, let's create a topic. So once the topic is created, let's say next, and then alarm name, it's going to be for billing. So click next, and so you could see this is the alarm threshold which I have met. So if the billing is going to cross $1, you would get notified to the email which you provided for it. Done. So now you are covered in terms of like the setting up the billing alarm, so that even by chance if you start using any non-free tier service, or let's say if you are crossing the free tier limit, and if your billing goes beyond $1, then you would get an email notification which you can act upon it. So we are using an SNS over here, so this would have sent an email for you. So look for it, and then all you need to do is confirm subscription, so that you will get notified as soon as the alarm crosses. Boom. So now we have seen how to protect an root user with an MFA, and then we have created an admin user which would act as an alternate or day-to-day admin user, and we won't touch the root user anymore. 3, we covered the billing part, so that if it crosses more than $1, you are going to get notified, and you are covered the base part. Now basically I'm a lazy person, so in the sense, let's say if I'm signing it out, and you could see, like, let's say I want to sign in back, then in that case you could see, because we are no more going to use a root user, we want to use IAM user, and it would ask for an account ID or the account alias. By default, your account ID and account alias both remains the same, which means you would end up remembering your account ID or storing your account ID at somewhere place. To overcome this, AWS provides an option to modify your alias, which can be easily rememberable, so that you don't need to worry about remembering your account ID as if. So to do that, let's again log into the root user. So now to set the alias, the custom alias, you can go for IAM, and in the IAM you could see the dashboard, and then on the right side of the dashboard you could see something called account alias. So as I was saying, so this is same as the account ID and then the account alias, both are same as a default one. Also you could see this is the one which is going to be over there on your sign in URL if you want to share it with any other user. So let's create one. So preferred alias, let me give the same as the channel name, which is easily rememberable. In your case, you can provide some unique name which is catchy for you, so that you don't need to worry about setting up an account ID or remembering an account ID each time you log in. So now if I sign out and let's say log back in, instead of going with the root user, now let's go for the account ID. So I can say Arsamaram, and then the username, in our case it's admin, and then the password which I set at the time of user creation. So now remember, this is the first time I'm going to log in as a user admin, and if you recall, I was selecting a checkbox to reset the password at the first login attempt. So now think I'm the admin as a separate user, not the same operations manager who created the account. So this is how the user flow would be. So now it asks for the old password, so you can provide the old password. Now it's asked for the new password, so as an user provide a new one, and then confirm password change. So it's forcefully asks the user to change the password. So whenever you share an password to the user, always ensure to check that box to force the user to change the password at the time of first login, so that the password don't get breached or so. Now, as a user, you have the standard to protect your own account. So for which I was saying in the past as well, you need to set the MFA account set for yourself. Boom. So these are the generic best practices which you need to follow as a newbie to the AWS. In the next video, we'll continue with the IAM service more in detail.